What's up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Drop a Line. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, all at One True Promotion. You can go type One True Promotion in on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, and you will see Drop a Line live with our next guest. Here to break his record of most appearances on Drop a Line and just to partake in a great, hilarious discussion about the arts and just how much it sucks to be a living human being right now. Unless, of course, you're wildly optimistic like the both of us are about to be. Here is Sam Rubinstein. And we are live with Sam. How are you this evening?
I'm good. You know what I just realized?
What'd you just realize?
I, in hindsight, did not think that I would ever make my panic face my logo. But four of those had that four of those pictures had that face. And I'm like, oh right, that's it. That's all, that's what I got.
Yeah, exactly. You work with what you've got. And I'm glad to hear that because I saw you in the little chat window below. You looked very disappointed to me as I played that, and I thought I selected all the wrong clips, but that makes me feel a little bit better.
And I don't. What do I do with that knowledge? You know.
You make awesome dumb stuff.
This is
accurate. And it makes people who are living through COVID-19 right now just a little bit happier, a lot of bit happier, actually. I would argue you have made a lot of people very happy in the past year.
I hope so. That would be nice. If I made you happy, just let me. That sounds weird. That sounded much weirder than it was supposed to.
Yes. Let me know if I made you happy in the comment section.
Let me know if I made you happy.
Yes. Just tell me. You make me happy.
But yeah, so how are you? How's life? I know we chatted a bit beforehand, but now for the cameras.
I'm good. Carrie and I both are hard at work on The Children of Arc, the first book in the Calipar series, which I hope to fulfill my dream of releasing next year now after a good bit of PR. And aside from that, I'm getting into teaching. I fought it for 10 years, but I landed myself in the English department at Hamilton High School. And it turns out I enjoy it. Who would have thought that an indie writer would enjoy the English department? So here I am.
What a concept.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, it's been a little weird out there, as we all know. Some places are seeming a bit more normal than others. Others are getting hit really hard, and a lot of people are stuck at home, and a lot of places are understaffed. We're understaffed, and it's chaotic. But hey, it's home.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an experience teaching. Yeah. It's funny because when people say why am I weirdly disillusioned right now with teaching, it's never the kids. I think it's a lot to do with the situation. I saw someone post today that you need to make sure you're reaching out to your teacher friends because many of them are really just hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
And you're seeing all these articles about how bad it is and all this stuff going on. But if you were to ask a teacher, every teacher would say it's not the students ever. It's very much the situation. And I think that's really frustrating in a different way,
I do know, and I feel like there are a lot of variables affecting the students right now. So anything with the students isn't the students. It's the result of just what's going on surrounding all of us right now and how it's affecting everybody there. There's so many things that disillusion me on a daily basis. My goal consistently is to just not be disillusioned. So, I go in with this kind of, very, what's the phrase I'm looking for? This very gung-ho attitude. I want to get as much out of every period as possible. and I don't get disillusioned. I try not to fall into the traps of complaining too much and
Yeah.
like letting my words affect me and actually make me feel contempt for some people. And then that all kind of transfers into me driving home and just being like unconscious.
I don't get sad. I don't get sad. I go to bed.
Yeah, which I'm sure you can relate to.
Yes, what is sleep?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, Sam. Nobody here has ever seen you before. What do you do? Tell me the one thing you do, because we know you only do one thing and you don't take on any other task.
So I'm glad you asked. My name is Sam Rubinstein. I am a hockey player. That's it. We're done. That's it. That's all.
Thank you for watching our hockey podcast. We brought it up to about 6 minutes and 45 seconds before we mentioned our hockey, and then we left.
End of podcast. No. So for those who don't know me, after being on this, I think I'm up to 8. I think this is 8.
Yeah.
Yes. My name is Sam Rubinstein. I'm a poet. I'm a comedian. I published a kid's book a few years. It's 2 years back now. 3 years. Ridiculous. End of 2019. So 3 years at this point, which is wild. I am also the founder of Second Renaissance Arts, which is a arts education and enrichment program. With the goal of building artistic community. I've been performing a lot of poetry and shows live recently, all over New Jersey. And then I write scripts. I write whatever comes to my brain. I started a TikTok channel. I post TikToks because I think short form media has an interesting dynamic that can be fun with it. I write for a small TV project called Baseballers, which has been a blast. I am running. I'm forgetting something.
Yeah.
I'm currently working on finishing my second book, my first full-length poetry manuscript, A Candle Regaining Strength, which hopefully will be out by the end of this month. And then it's on to my next project, which is a play and chapbook called The Space Between. I just recently started writing the third project because I'm a monster, called Teachers' Lessons and Other Mistakes I've Made. And then
I love that title.
I'm trying. And then I'm planning a tour because I want to. Because I haven't got to do a lot of live shows, like traveling recently, like big live shows. And I think I'm forgetting. I feel it in my bones that I'm forgetting something.
Tell us about that feeling.
I know. I'm trying. And I work on a couple other projects right now that I'm doing. And I'm gonna forget and then remember at a random point during this.
Well, that's the most fun thing that happens is when we make random discoveries during the show. I have a question.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, pardon me. A bit of mucus. That's the first time on Drop a Line I've said mucus. The word of the day is mucus. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.
I'm gonna use it like 18 times now.
Yeah. Yes, there you go. What is it on a typical day that keeps you going?
Anger.
That's a lot.
Anger. No, I think I've always wanted to get a lot done ever since I was little, and I've recently become a bit better at managing that time so that it feels a bit better, like I'm getting a lot done, but I can also enjoy myself. And I think ever since I was little, my mom always said I talk too much, and this is just giving me different ways to talk and express that without bothering her every day, all day. That's my answer.
That's true.
I always like, it's weird. I wrote a script for if I ever got, and this is true. This is if I ever get famous show. It's the fourth series after the trilogy of live shows that I'm doing now, called Sam's Dumb Show. And
Nice.
in it, it's a fully scripted, multi scene, many actor casted show, and there's one part in it where it kind of boils down this concept of need for creativity, and each character says like how they ended up on that stage. And you have a character who they're there because it's an escape for them for what's hard. You have a character because it makes them feel like they can be someone else. And then you have a character who just very much says, if I wasn't doing this, I don't think I'd be alive. And I think all of those are kind of what push me in a way. And then there's a few more. My favorite one is, well, I ended up on a stage and I was too afraid to get off. So here I am now. I'm an actor.
Yep, exactly.
But like all of those are really the things that keep me going, is this kind of want to be creative, want to find escape, want to do something that makes me feel good about life.
I like that. I like that answer a lot. And what I like about it the most is that I feel like there's a lot of people watching who could really relate to that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's so difficult is that realistically the world is hard. Like, even, and it's gonna sound silly, even before the pandemic and these past few years being difficult, the world was difficult. And
yeah,
it doesn't, like, I'd love to say it's gonna get easier, but like it won't. And so you have to have something that is for you during that time.
That's right.
That's right. And that makes all of that difficult worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're doing a lesson. This is weird. We're doing a lesson in one of these classes. So there's a class where they don't have a teacher. The teacher is not here this year. And the class is on leadership and emotional development.
You don't need a teacher for that.
Apparently. So here's me as the sub. And there's previous sub before it was like, we're just going to sit here and study, and it's going to be study hall. And I said, no. We going to learn today. And
yeah, that's great. That's great leadership and development training there. This is a study hall. Sit and do what you want and be quiet.
Like, it's one of those things. And so for me, what I do is I come in there and I'm like, all right, we're going to get weird. We're going to do projects, have some fun. And I'm known like around the school for like some of these weird projects that I make them do. And right now the project is they have to build a Rube Goldberg machine. You know a Rube Goldberg machine? Multiple weird moving parts. For those who don't know at home, a Rube Goldberg machine helps you do simple tasks like clearing mucus from your nose or dropping a ball into a cup. See, use the word of the day. You're welcome, everyone. But they had to do it, and there was this kid for the past few days who's like, I can't do it. I'm not able to help them. I will get in the way. I am too nervous. Every time I go over there, I'm worried I'm going to knock something over and everyone's going to yell at me. And he's been avoiding it. And finally today I looked at him and said, do you think like the world's going to stop? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, like, no offense, but you're going to be nervous no matter what. Like, it doesn't change. The difference now while you're still young compared to when you're older is your landlord doesn't care if you're nervous. They want their rent. Your boss still wants you to come in. And it's a lesson in this idea of being able to process that feeling and then move through it. Because if we stop at every feeling, because there's a difference between stopping at a feeling and not doing anything and processing it and moving forward. And a lot of times people get caught in that processing and then don't move forward. And so we had that moment today, and let me tell you, he has this moment, he's sitting there and he's upset and he's this or that, and he walks over and he pops up right next to me, and there's kids like going like this, and he goes, I need someone to hold it. And he very carefully like reaches out, like holding a newborn babe. Just like, I got it. And like, he's so afraid that he's going to break it, but he does it. And the guy says, thank you. And he's just like, I go, you did it. He goes, yeah, I'm exhausted. I go, yeah, but you did something. And I think that's what we need, is that feeling of
You know.
accomplishment. So
Absolutely. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love the way that you handled that interaction, and I love to hear the result of your intervention there. And, as you were explaining about that, I also had the thought that, we tend to blame things when things go wrong for us. We tend to blame the thing. It's because of this, it's because of that. But sometimes when we jump from new thing to new thing to new thing, the feelings don't go away.
yeah,
So I like that you struck at what he's actually processing. I think that students really need that in a teacher.
well, it's teaching right now is wild. I can talk
Yeah.
about that for hours, and I don't know if people want to hear it, but like the truth, the truth is it's such a crazy time, because a lot, and each person's responding to it very differently, because truth is we're all exhausted, like not just teachers, not like teachers, students, principals, people on the
Yeah.
street, parents, everyone is tired.
Yeah.
And when people get tired, they do dumb things.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's really important right now is that we're honest with ourselves and with others. Like, it's okay to say, like, hey, things are really bad right now. Like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
doing the best we can, but things are also really bad right now. What's not okay is pretending that everything's fine. Like, it's not. We know it's not. We know there's a lot going on. And so I had that conversation with my students, and like, that's like, they're like, teachers yell at us. Like people get mad at each other. We got no time for that. The world is on fire.
Mhm.
Why are you getting mad at someone who works at Burger King?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. No, you're so right, and that's wise advice, I think. Um, I've said this on the show before, but I think those kids are, very lucky to have you, and I think that the work you do is exceptional. And you have said that, you consider it basic human decency, and I like that.
I was
I
literally
think you
about to
should.
say that, so I'm glad
Yeah,
you caught
I
me
know.
before I did.
I know. I caught you. I caught you because I just wanted you to know that when you appear on the show 8 times, I remember the things you say. But you can say it again if you want.
I mean, it is. It's basic human decency. Stop being mean to other people. Like, just don't. We're all going through like the nightmares.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was striking at earlier when I mentioned all the things people get attached to. You know what I mean? Oh, if I don't get my chicken, I'm just my day is going to be ruined. And the next thing you know, you're dumping on a cashier who has a horribly overwhelming, exhausting job. But I feel like a big part of it is that when people are too into, material things, that can definitely be a big block towards accessing your empathy. You know what I mean?
And like, it's true that, and it's not like I'm perfect. I don't think any of us are perfect. Like today, I was picking up something from McDonald's. I was in a rush. The line was very long, and the people who are very much overwhelmed never took my order in the drive-through. So I just showed up at the window. They're like, "You got this?" I go, "No, I didn't get to order." And they were like, "No, you had to have ordered." I'm like, "No, I didn't." The person's like, "You got to go through the drive-through." I was like, "I did." And I snapped. I'm like, "I went through the drive. I did this." And the woman like looked like so. I'm like, "I'm sorry for yelling." She goes, "Don't yell." She goes, "Did you just apologize?" I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that." I go, "No, it's fine. I'm sorry for yelling. I know you're
Yeah.
like this giant line
Yeah.
behind me. I get
Yeah.
it. I'm sorry that I lost my temper because
Yeah.
you're very much clearly understaffed right now."
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and like that is the thing. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be aware of ourselves.
Hmm.
Like, just like I said, I made a mistake. I caught my mistake. Nice to see. Well, I don't see your dumb
Yeah.
face, Andrew, but nice to know that your dumb face is watching. Makes me happy. But yeah, that's it. That's my. I've got on my soapbox. Be nice to each other, not fake nice, just empathetic. Just be a decent person.
Here on Drop a Line, there is no such thing as fake nice. If you are guarding your words, but you don't believe the nice things you say in your heart, we don't want none of that. We want you to come to Drop a Line with your full heart and
Gosh
soul.
darn
And we
it.
want you, and we want, yes, and we want you to share in our delight in your presence. If you are not delighted by yourself, you will not be delighted by us.
We
That's just
we
a fact.
share positivity. We share our feelings. We share our emotions. We don't share mucus. Third time. We've used the word of the day 3 times.
I'm very impressed with you catching on to the word of the day. I knew you would. You know, you catch on to everything. That's one of your talents. I actually do want to ask about that, Sam. You know, we've talked about your before about your drive, your motivation, your creativity, some of your life experiences, and how they feed the topics of your work. But one thing I've never asked you about before is that I feel like with the kind of work that you do, with the performances you put on, and with the interventions you perform at school, and you know, the shows that you arrange, I feel like you are really good at catching things as they come at you, and adjusting very quickly to them, and knowing how to perform through that. And I'm just curious, like how do you do that? How does that work?
Practice. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things that requires practice
Mm-hmm.
and also honesty, I think, are my two answers.
Mm-hmm.
I've had shows where I've bombed, I've got heckled, I've had bad
Mm-hmm.
moments. I recently got heckled to the point where a guy threatened to pull a gun on me mid-show, which is wild because I'm not a controversial poet.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm I'm milk toast, people.
Yeah.
And
Seriously.
it happens, and I think one of the things you need, one of the issues that I was having was I took myself very seriously to a level that like wasn't good early on, where
Mm-hmm.
everything needed to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and it made for an experience that wasn't very honest and wasn't very
Mm-hmm.
genuine. And
Mm-hmm.
so nowadays, what I do, even if it's something where I'm writing that character, is I let there be a level of um, realism, where
Yeah.
like if someone says something from the audience, I'm gonna pull it in, and it's
Mm-hmm.
happened before, and it becomes more engaging for those who are there, but also it becomes like it becomes uh a little bit easier then to process it. Like the dude
Yeah.
was mad. So this guy, okay, this is a fun story. So he was
Yeah.
doing a show in New Brunswick. It was the last show for this series because the place that was hosting us was shutting down. There were maybe like 7 people. A few people from work showed up. A few of my friends like this. I was the only performer, so I had a 40-minute set to just do what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then these like few people showed up, and amongst them was this one woman who was just so excited to be there, and she was having a great time. And she had this one friend who was miserable. And as the show went on, he became more and more vocal about how miserable he was. And at one point, you know, his friend's like so like trying her best to still be positive and have fun. She goes, "I can't wait to read for the open mic. I need to find a poem." And he goes, "I need to find my gun." And there's like, and in that moment, there's a jarring pause. And one of the audience members who, like, I've been just playing through it, like, jokingly, just goes, "Dude, if you don't like it, leave." And I go, "Well, hold on. Is the gun loaded and is it aiming for me? Because if it is, like, I'm like, let's do, like, you know, let's have some fun here."
Yeah.
And his friend's like, "No, I'm sorry. We should go this or that." And my little, as this guy was leaving, because I'm a bit of a jerk, as he's leaving, I go to this poem called "Imagining and Knowing." I'm like,
Nice.
I imagine myself someplace better, like that guy probably does right now. He's giving me the finger. Everyone's laughing. What are we gonna do here? Like I kind of had to throw it in because what else are you like? You can't let that kind of stuff get you down. You got to just roll with it.
Absolutely.
So that's a real thing. I can now say that I
know.
am a poet that's been threatened with gun violence, which again
That's a
on
sign of the times.
but like it's a good like you're gonna laugh. I'm proud of it.
I know you are.
It's a checkbox. I've been on this show 8 times. I've been featured in many places. All great things. But how many poets can say they've been threatened by gunshot? Like,
I mean, I feel like there are, off the top of my head, 10 comedians more controversial and offensive than you that have not been threatened with guns.
exactly. I am the most not because every joke at the end of the day is at myself. Like I am the punchline. And so like I'm not up there talking about any issues. I'm joking around, having fun. I'm bringing up things like my own mental. And there's like, this guy's on an agenda. What's the agenda? That I'm overweight? Like, I don't know what you want from me.
Yes, what is my agenda? As I stand here knocking on myself, what exactly is my agenda? What am I trying? What am I conspiring to do to you right now?
So that happened, and it's been one of my favorite things to think about. But like when we talk about how do you get used to conflict and things being thrown your way and picking up on like the mood of the audience, you learn it. You learn it by failing to do it. You learn it by learning who's good with who and what and if you're ever in the world of getting into poetry or any kind of performance, my biggest piece of advice is go out and bomb over and over and over again and learn your audience and learn what's going on, because the truth is there's always going to be someone that doesn't like you. It's just true. There will always be someone who thinks your comedy is bad, your poetry is weak. And they'll be at the show, whether you want them there or not.
Right.
Be there.
They have rights.
And like, it doesn't mean I don't get down with myself sometimes, because you still do if you don't feel like you did as well as you could. But you try to find the joy in it. I did a show recently at a cannabis smoke shop thing, and it was great. It was
That's got to be a checkbox.
Again, it's one of those things where why are you bringing me? I am milk toast.
Yeah.
But like everyone there, and I was doing this bit, and it was quiet. Like it was so quiet. No one was saying any sounds. There was nothing. And I went through my full set, and I'm like, I bombed. This sucks. I get down, I go outside, and everyone comes to me. My God, man, you were so funny. You were so good. Your poetry is like out of this world. And I'm sitting there going, no one left. And it dawned on me that because I never performed in this kind of venue. Like my friend goes, dude, they were too high to laugh. And my brain, that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, everyone was like, I loved everything you did. You were amazing. You were this, you were that. And I'm just like, no one laughed. Like I finished. And so again, that's now something that I can add to, okay, sometimes this is something that may happen where like you may not be bombing, you may just be in a relatively quiet room.
One of my favorite other examples of that is when the late Robin Williams performed for the military, and then the flag came down for the day, and they all turned up and turned their backs from him for the whole ceremony while he was on stage. Do you remember that? And he was like, "What?" And then and then it was over, they sat down. They turned around and sat down to watch him again, and he was like, "Well, welcome back. Can't say that's never happened before."
Yeah, it's one of those things that just the more you go out, the more you perform, the more you open yourself up to criticism, the more comfortable you get on stage, or with really anything. Like, I've had students look me in the face and be like, "Mister, you're the worst." All right, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? I can't help you. And then
well, I feel like, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
You first.
Well, I was just going to say, I feel like that's so important because if you allow somebody else's words to control you, people's words will always control you. They'll control everything that you do. If somebody tells you should quit, you'll quit. So that's the answer. When somebody says you're the worst, you're like, oh, I bet. Yeah, that sounds legit. Thank you for that.
It's true though. Like,
yeah.
And then what is it? Mike Birbiglia says that one of the most important key things you need to get into, like, to be a performer is just a healthy level of denial.
Yeah.
He's like, I went up on stage for my first ever paid gig. I vomited outside, walked in. I was supposed to do 15 minutes. I did 5, cried, said I'm sorry, and then left, went home and told my girlfriend it was perfect.
Yep, exactly. How'd it go? It was perfect. That's really fascinating, though. I think that it really is fascinating to learn because it always seemed to me that you had such an innate talent to react to things very quickly, where I always felt like I would have to disappear and process for a little bit before I could think of something appropriate to say. But here you are tonight telling me it's literally just practice and being willing to kind of learn the rhythms.
Yeah, I wish, because like if we go back to Stockton times, there were times when I would really get I would get frustrated, whether it be if we were on like a set or if we were doing the news or something, and I wasn't able to roll with it as easily as I would have liked. I remember there was a point, it was fun, where I did a joke during Stocktainment, and it was a great joke. People liked it, but I wasn't allowed to use it. And I turned and like no one moved, and I kept going, and like, you can't do it, and it threw me off for the next take. Like the entire next take, I was just like, "What do you?" Like I went through it, I did it, but in my brain, I'm like, "What do you mean?" Everyone laughed. Why can't I do this? And then my brain's like, "Right, I shouldn't have said that." Like, and then I had to change the way I would write things for that from then on out to make sure that didn't happen again.
I don't actually remember the joke.
I do.
Like I'm so old. Yeah, I know you do. I wish I did.
Do you want me to tell it to you? Because it's a good one.
Go ahead.
It was because I would. Again, you guys gave me way too much power. I'm gonna say that right. No one like it. My script always started improvisational opening, and no one questioned what that was gonna be. And so I sat down. I rolled in on the little wheelie chair and I said, "Hi, my name is Sam Rubinstein. I've been playing hide and seek with my dad for 22 years. He's so good at hiding. Where you been, Dad?" And turned and just kept going. And
I remember that. We didn't let you use that?
No one. Everyone laughed. And then I don't remember his name, and I feel really bad. Came on the thing, goes, "We were supposed to switch camera, but I don't think. Yeah, we're not gonna use that, Sam." I was like, "Oh."
Oh. Well,
so
screw
I had
us.
to change
That was a good joke.
I agree. But he was like no one moved. It got like there was the laugh and then it was just dead quiet. And I was like, all right.
Right.
But it's those like small moments. I may not show it like while I'm on stage or like doing something, but then I'm remembering next time, like, all right, we're gonna be safer, and because there's also this level of professionalism that I strive to have.
Yeah.
And of like, I always want to do Stocktainment in one perfect take.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a personal thing. I want there to be a level of professionalism, even when I'm on stage, that like, if I mess up a poem, I'll just keep going through it. Whereas I know a lot of people who they'll mess it up and, stop. Oh, sorry. That's kind of where a lot of that came from, is this, if I want to look this way on stage, if I want to have this, then I need to be good at handling everything.
Sure. Right. Yeah. And it's harder than it sounds, right?
It's a pain, I'll tell you right
Mhm.
now. Like, I've been on sets where I'm just like, this is not fun. I'm not having a good time.
Mhm.
But then you learn. Like, I've done my own skits where like the bit doesn't land, and that
Mhm.
sucks.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, what do I do next time? And you get used to it, and you have to pick yourself up.
This might be a good time for me to confess to you that that is the exact reason I actively avoided trying to write comedies, was that I was terrified at the thought of those crickets moments. I'm not
I
even kidding.
I was like for a very long time I was, and like I still am a bit,
Mhm.
but like I've also gotten better at dealing with it. I remember I did a show and no one was laughing at the jokes, and finally I go, man, I messed up. I messed up something, and I did it like unintentionally, and the audience laughed. I go, cool. We're gonna just laugh at my misfortune, none of the jokes. And then they
Mhm.
started laughing again. I was like, see,
That was
you're
clever. Yep.
monsters. All of you are
Uh-huh.
monsters. You
Uh-huh.
monsters. And like that was how I started getting back into it. And like
Mhm.
it took seeing what was gonna get them. And if
Mhm.
this material didn't work, how do I switch over differently? Um,
Mhm. That's
and it
awesome.
Yeah, like those are the things. Like comedy's hard. It's all timing. And
Mhm.
if it doesn't work, well then what are you gonna do to change that timing? Like how are you gonna
Mhm.
switch the momentum?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I mean, it's really like just a completely different cool toolkit. Cool tit. The phrase of the night is cool tit. I am very sorry, everybody. I have this weird kind of verbal dyslexia where I switch the first letters of words sometimes, and tonight it literally made me say cool tit. So now I feel like I should just fall out of this chair and cry. You
No,
you
but now I
you
have
say
to figure
something.
out how am I gonna use that phrase and mucus at the same time. Like that's the fifth time we used the word mucus today. You're welcome.
There you go.
Um, but yeah, so like I've I'm lucky in the sense that I've had good bits that worked. And I've
Mm.
had times that have been nice. Like I've had some like pretty cool tits, you know? But like I've also and so I've found ways to kind of do that. But so the truth is I think all writing is about pace and tone and momentum.
Mhm.
And it's just different things to look for.
Mhm.
So like when you're writing something that's funny, if it's supposed to be read, you have to write it in a way that people will read it funny.
Mhm.
If it's supposed to be said, you have to make sure that it shows that it's going to be said in a way that it sounds funny. I was trying to explain to
Mhm.
my students that one of my favorite quotes from Bill Murray is from this movie called Moonrise Kingdom, and they
Mhm.
didn't get it because I couldn't get the tone because it's Bill Murray. I couldn't get the tone
Mhm.
exactly the way he said it, where his wife is asking him after he's been chopping wood for like 3 hours aggressively because he found out she cheated on him. And she goes, are you feeling okay? And he goes, yeah, I'm fine. It only hurts when I breathe or live. And like, I can't do that justice. I want
Right.
to. But like,
Right.
you have to find that perfect timing for a line like that to
Mhm.
be funny. Because the line isn't
Mhm.
funny. Like that
Right.
word, like it's not, but you make it
Right.
funny through what you say. I don't know. I'm
No, no,
rambling.
you're right. No, no, you're not rambling. You're absolutely right. Carrie and I have been watching shows, and um, we've been watching Abbott Elementary and Only Murders in the Building. We love both, and at least 3 times a show, I say, "Oh, it's the delivery for me. It's the delivery." Because like none of the lines are actually funny, but the actors say them in funny ways.
Oh, it's all about like the timing of it. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that I've been doing a lot with the TV show that I'm working with, Baseballers, is I do a lot of when I'm editing, all right, we're gonna put a pause here because the joke will hit better if
Hmm.
we give it a pause. I'm gonna get rid of this line because this line itself is too like on the nose where people will think they're being talked down to. Like a few
Hmm.
small things where I do this, because a lot of times what people give me is good, but how do we push it further? How do we get that line to really land? And a lot of that comes down to that timing, that pace that you're going for. Like, so one of the episodes that I'm doing ends with a character mooning a cancer gala. He's mooning the cancer gala. His butt cheeks literally say "F cancer" on them. The idea of it is so outrageous because they're supposed to be these like baseball icon, like wholesome people, and they're just idiots. But what makes that delivery so perfect is not that, because that's your funny shot gag moment, but there's this pause, this awkward silence, and then a pan to two other characters. And one character's just in shock, and the other one has a huge smile on her face and goes, "So remember when I said this was going to be a shit show?" And then that's how the episode ends. That line is my favorite line of the episode because just a direct, straight pan, like perfect. And it comes down to that like timing of that delivery.
Yes.
The line is going to be a shit show, not inherently funny.
Right.
The mooning in reality, not funny.
Yeah.
Like it won't be unless it's timed correctly.
Right.
But if you put all of it together, you get what you need for humor.
I love that. Love that. We are at 42 minutes, and I know you have places to be.
So much. We got so distractible.
No, it's fine. Is there anything we failed to discuss tonight that you wanted to talk about, or did we
hit all your points? Okay, can I do like one quick thing that's really weird?
Go ahead.
Like, can we take one moment? Alec, are you on TikTok?
No.
Okay. Is Carrie on TikTok?
No.
I got onto TikTok recently, begrudgingly.
Yeah.
And I find the formula for TikTok to have both so many limitations and just limitless possibility. And you don't know if something's going to work at all or not. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it to be so much more fun than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't require nearly as much work from me as it should.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if it's not like well produced or this or that, but it's just a quick bit. And because it relies on like these weird sound bites and these adaptations of sound bites, I find it fun. Someone did a DNA test on their dog. It was a husky.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it, and the sound was partnered with the what's it called? I don't remember the name of the song. I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% by Lizzo. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then instead of that, it's the dog screaming. I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100%. Ah! And that in itself, like, as cute as a dog screaming. I took that sound and I mixed it with the words depressed.
I saw that.
And it got a lot of views for no reason.
Yeah.
I find that concept of just being very experimental within these weird limitations and parameters so freeing. And I encourage anyone who's like not in the world of TikTok, not a big TikTok person, don't even make an account. You don't need to make an account. Just watch a few, see like how weird it can get, and just that's it. I encourage it because it's not going to last forever. It's going to go the route of Vine, and I feel it and I know it. But the weird limitation moments are so freeing from an artistic perspective. And because I don't care about my TikTok account, I can just post whatever I want there.
Right. Exactly.
That's it. I just wanted to say that quickly.
That's good. No, thank you for saying that. I think that was the best trailer for TikTok I've ever heard. So Thank you all for joining Drop a Line to hear our advertisement. Sam, how you feel about tonight?
It was fun. You know what? We got into like a bunch of weird conversations. I'm feeling good. I'm hoping people have been having fun and enjoying themselves.
Actually,
We have
Matt,
a
how do you feel about where you're going?
Oh, I'm so excited to go play hockey. You have no idea. It's so freeing.
We can do that thing if you want. We don't have a lot of people watching right now, so if you want to hold that for next time,
Hold it for next time. Do you want to end on a poem? Is that what we're going to end on?
Sure. Let's end on a poem. Let's do it.
Okay. I wrote this poem relatively recently, and it's actually based on a script I wrote while at Stockton. And I took the script and I kind of made it into a little poem. And so this is called Heroes and Villains. Connor and I were friends once, back when kids were friends, because that's really just what you were, friends with other kids. And he always loved to play heroes and villains. He was Captain Courage with just the right superpower to get out of any situation and just save the day. He did the right thing and always saved the pretty girl, which is played by Connor's dog, Pixie. And that left me as the proverbial villain, a weekly cavalcade of monsters and dastardly geniuses trying to destroy the world, and watch as I came up with every plan and then saw Captain Courage just get out of it and save the day. But nowadays, Connor works as a financial planner in New York, and I sit at home and write poems. He's ending his first marriage after 2 years in a domestic violence charge, and I haven't had a girlfriend since 2019. Connor takes photos from foreign beaches, and I haven't gone to see someplace warm in years. Connor and I don't talk anymore. Not that we needed to. Not since the incident. When Captain Courage faced off against the villainous environmentalist who planned to burn down the neighborhood and replace it with trees and flowers. So Captain Courage did his usual thing, escaped the traps and made it into the secret lair of the environmentalist hidden behind the shed, only to just find me. No costume, no props, no gadgets, just bald fists and a decision that this time the villain actually deserves to win by whatever means necessary. Connor's mom picked him up in her Hummer 2 hours later, drove him home, and I never saw him again. Not that it meant much anymore. Thank you.
That was very good.
Thank you.
Very, very
It's
good.
not a true story.
We can pretend it is, though.
It's a sort of true story.
There you go. There you go. Sam, it's always great to have you on the show. Thank you for visiting us and sharing more of your insight and your amazing personality. We're always happy to have you back.
It was fun. It was fun.
Oh. Well, that's what we want. We want Drop a Line to be fun. So do you have any parting words for our audience?
Stay gold, pony boy.
There you go. Stay gold, everybody. And catch us next week with our next guest. Sam, enjoy hockey. Good to see you.
Bye.